Welcome everybody to another Blerd Lines Podcast with your boy, Captain New, and the one and only Dad Pad I'm Late Gaming. It has been a busy adult weekend in which parenting and other things have taken over with our busy schedule. So we do apologize with the late stream, but we came here to give you guys our weekly dose of some good nerdy news.
Whoa. I'm gonna let you finish. Mosquito Baby has the best YouTube channel of all time.
Facts.
Go ahead.
We came here to give you nerdy news, updates, and everything that we have this week has been more of a informational type of week. We have, let me go ahead and bring up my beautifulness of ness. Kingdom Hearts 4 that just released an unnecessary trailer for this morning. Unreal 5 being revealed of so much beautifulness and greatness from a developer standpoint. Remedy and Rockstar announces Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes. Halo Infinite multiplayer season 2 finally announced for early May. Hopefully something happens with that because Halo has been doing things of that nature. Industries include free-for-all elimination mode called Last Spartan Standing and Call of Life Land Grab and updated versions King of the Hill. Returnal cleans up at the BAFTA, the British Academy Game Awards. Best Game Music Audio Achievement leading roles. Of course it has. And then we might get a little spicy and talk about our boy Colin's interview because I just finished watching it and I have thoughts. Greg, before we get into the news, man, how you doing this weekend?
Man, I'm good. I'm tired. I'm good. So I have to apologize because it was 90% my fault yesterday that we did not do the show. My wife was doing a photo shoot. It was her and my daughter. My daughter had a volcanic eruption kind of day. She was just angry, upset, and crying all day. So we got to the photo shoot, and it did not work out. Kind of wasted some money there, but it's all right, I guess, because when you're dealing with kids, you can never predict the future. And then last night, me and the wife are planning a trip to Disney World for my youngest son's birthday. That's exciting. But last night we actually had to wake up early this morning at 5:30 to hop into Digital Queue to make reservations for all of our dining reservations. So we are going to be at the Princess's Castle. They've got this new restaurant called Space 220 where you are in outer space and you get to eat dinner, and it looks really freaking awesome, and some other things as well. So I'm in a good mood, but because we were up at 5:30 to 6:15 getting that done, I slept through 2 alarms, so it is also my fault that we are late. So I apologize, guys, but we're here. We're going to have a good show. How are you, Perry?
I'm good. It has been a trying weekend. I'm extremely tired. I have some games to play because next weekend, hopefully we can get her on the show. I want to talk some Kirby with Mosquito Bay. And so I'm going to be playing that. Kyle will be silenced here shortly if he keeps bugging me about Kingdom Hearts 4.
Oh, yes.
I will fly over him and kick him in the testicles.
Where's our girl Slub Love? Handle it.
But outside of that, man, I've been good. It's been a good weekend. Took the wifey out on a date. I took wifey and baby girl out on a date.
Which her outfit was adorable, by the way. I did catch that picture.
Oh, man, she's loving it. Try to give me a new computer chair, but they were out at IKEA, so that sucks. I got a new title in which I'm in training for. I'm a data analyst / network engineer now, so I get paid monies. I no longer work 16-hour shifts, so when I go into work tonight, I get to go to sleep until the next night, so I'm happy.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Absolutely. So I will wake up more after I finish my energy drink.
He will wake up more after we open the show with fueled hatred. Because while we were sleeping, probably while I was reserving dining meals at in outer space, something happened. Square Enix announced with a trailer with gameplay included Kingdom Hearts 4 during the 20th anniversary event that happened while we were sleeping, and again while I was scheduling dinner at Cinderella's. Wait, no, I think that's Beauty and the Beast's castle, but that's neither here nor there. Kingdom Hearts 4, man. How do you feel about this, Perry? Okay, while Perry is processing his thoughts.
I thought I was muted.
Okay.
So, for me, if I'm being all honest and frank about this entire thing, I'm going to be as unbiased as possible. Kingdom Hearts 3 was not good. It had to have updates and DLCs to make it an okay game and an enjoyable game. For a secret ending you had to earn, which so many people say, did you get the secret ending? Did you get the secret ending? I was like, why would I need to get the secret ending for the game to be enjoyable at all? 1/3 of the game was frozen of you going up a hill, and it was not fun at all. That was very boring. And then
the Tangle stuff was pretty bad too.
Tangle was digestible. Like after a good, like a Fanta grape, you had a digestible amount. Monster Inc. was cool. Pirates of the Caribbean was fun.
I don't even think I got that far. I will say that the lantern scene, I forget if they were like the sky lanterns or the water Japanese style lanterns, but that was a very, very gorgeous scene.
It was visually stunning. And then
it was a pretty game.
I mean, Big Hero 6 was fun, but it was short. And then you had the moment when you had Aqua versus Riku and Mickey, I believe. That was another phenomenal scene. But the game didn't pick up till the last third of the game when there was no Disney characters. So the game was not fun at all. It was definitely not a 7 or 8 out of 10. So for me, 2, Dad Joke Pro. That is unmatched.
You know who asked for Kingdom Hearts? Kingdom Hearts 4 in red? Nobody.
Oh my God.
You've been dad joked.
It was terrible.
Please continue.
When Chapter 4 has been announced because of the 20th anniversary, of course they had to come in with a mobile game that you have to play that's going to be tied into the story that no one pays attention to. And then you have an extra piece of content, and then you have 4. 4 looks as though it's going to be dark and be tied in with. No, Kyle. If you played the mobile games, they tie in and have bits and pieces of the story if you want to understand the full scope of it. So you have to play it to understand all of it, or SparkNote it on YouTube. But for 4, it seems as though it's going to be dark and reminiscent of 2, which 2 was the best one out of the 3. If you're not counting the 30 other video games of the Switch, and no, I'm sorry, not the Switch, but the Game Boys and all that fun stuff. So hopefully it's going to be interesting. They give Sora a Giga Drill. So if you know what a Giga Drill is, you have watched Gurren Lagann.
Or any other anime show that has a drill attack in it.
But no, this was a Giga Drill. This is 100% a Giga Drill, and there are 3 people that know it's a Giga Drill. That will be Kyle, that will be Derek, and that will be Juan. They know what I am referencing, and it's 100 from the charge up to everything it has. It's that, but as I'm
Giga Drill is greater than all other anime drills. Thank you, Kyle.
right, and then I'm gonna quote Greg in this one. Bethesda, why are you showing me a game that's not going to come out for the next 10 years? Replace Bethesda with Square Enix, and boom, you have it. Square Enix, why are you showing me a game that's not going to come out for the next 10 years? And Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
4.
Now, there's a couple things I will say here. I understand that this is the 20th anniversary event, but we have to keep in mind that the last Kingdom Hearts was developed on, and we'll get more into this later, but was developed on Unreal 4. We know Unreal 5 is out. Again, we'll get into more detail on that as we get to that part of the discussion in the show. But we know that has a focus on quality of life for developers. So maybe that'll actually help speed up the process where only thing they'll have to do is work on that really convoluted story and kind of get that figured out. But there are two things that I want to mention here, because when I saw your post this morning, I was like, "What? Kingdom Hearts 4 on a early Sunday morning? What the hell's going on?" So I had to go look at the trailer. Two things I noticed. One, the concept of the Kingdom Hearts world impacting our regular world is a kind of an interesting one. So that kind of makes me a little bit curious how that'll play out, and how because Kingdom Hearts has always been go from one world to another world, from one Disney place to another Disney place, and gummy ships, whatever. So I'm curious how that will play out. Like, are we going to go from Earth to Jupiter to Mars to Saturn? Like, I don't know. But the other thing, which I feel is a very, very, very missed opportunity, is Kingdom Hearts 3. One of the biggest criticisms that people had for it, and this is even people that love the game that, I don't know why they loved it, but they absolutely love the game. We didn't have any Final Fantasy characters in that game. And knowing that that's one of the biggest issues that Kingdom Hearts 3 had, even for the people that loved it, why the hell would they not include some type of at least tease of a Final Fantasy character in that trailer? Why, Perry?
Because if you paid attention to the trailer, they did give us a hint of a Final Fantasy character, and that was a character from Final Fantasy 15. When they first announced Final Fantasy 15, Sora was in the same building aspect of aesthetics when he was running through that building upward when the glasses was going down. That is reminiscence of the first trailer when we had Noctis going through the building as well. So if you look at Sora and Noctis, they are very similar in aesthetics in this game right now.
I guess I can see that. They've kind of done away with his shorts and kind of gone for more of this like capri pan look.
He gave him swag. He ain't got them big ass shoes no more.
Yeah, he did have some drip. So I guess I can see how the art style is a bit more akin to Final Fantasy 15, because they did make them look a little more like real human like.
Right.
Now though it is a reach, it is a fair reach to say that could be implication that Final Fantasy 15 might be somewhere in there. But what I think about is, you remember how jarring it was to see Super Mario Odyssey and Mario was running around with a bunch of people that look like regular human beings? My thing is, maybe that's an artistic decision they made, knowing that this game would be in like our world. So maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully you're right, because I mean, that's like, though I'll probably play this game, but out of like sheer curiosity. Sheer curiosity. Like, I cannot stress how much curiosity is going to drive me to play this game. I really hope that the Final Fantasy characters are here, if nothing else, man.
I'm only playing it because I'm giving games an honest try and an opinion, just not judging it from just from an aesthetic looking standpoint. I want to be fair and actually dive into it and play it as much as possible before I just throw it in the complete trash. So I mean, hopefully this. I mean, Sora definitely looks way better. His Keyblade has moves that I'm actually curious about before they seem. I can't wait till I stream it and say Giga Drill and hit everyone with maximum love and hatred at the same time. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Aesthetically and musically, Kingdom Hearts 3 was still Kingdom Hearts. It sounded great.
Yeah.
The opening scene was phenomenal. This music was great. It was no simple and clean, but at the same time, it still was hitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hopefully, as far as Disney characters, we keep it to three: Donald, Goofy, and Mickey. That's about it. That's all I care for. Hopefully, we get more Riku in this one. I want the Overdrive outfits. I don't want any of those Disney supers anymore. Bring back a lot of aesthetics from two, and then you'll have a game that hooks me in. That will be satisfying. That will be cool. So, hold on.
Yeah.
Kyle's going off. So, I'm going to allow him to go off real quick.
Nothing as simple as clean.
Nothing is simple. No, not at all. Simple and Clean is like up there as far as one of the best video game songs of all time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Kyle, I do agree. And Kyle says in the comments, if your curiosity is that strong, then they've done their jobs. Yeah, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Kingdom Hearts has always been a marketing juggernaut. That's why
Absolutely.
they're able to sell you games like the Kingdom Hearts like Symphony play along game for the Nintendo Switch. Because their marketing machine is the real deal.
Absolutely.
That does not mean that their gameplay machine or their narrative machine is always there, but they are beautiful games aesthetically. Like even Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, though they do look a little bit dated aesthetically in a lot of ways, they still look really good because of the art style that they went with was kind of like that whimsical cartoony vibe. Now this looks a little different, but ultimately it looks good. I thought, even in Kingdom Hearts 3 and now in Kingdom Hearts 4, I think that the traversal and moving around the battle system from what we've seen thus far still looks really cool. It's just, you know, it's bogged down by a lot of shenanigans and foolery that I really don't care for. Um, but I was like, I would never say that Kingdom Hearts is terrible and it doesn't do anything right. They do plenty of things good. They just have a super convoluted story, and sometimes because they are bogged down by the need to include Disney in, um, it affects them in negative ways, whether that be annoying characters, annoying game segments, or sometimes just outright ridiculousness.
Right.
But
So,
there's good stuff in every game.
absolutely. So, just want to address a comment, two of them. R. Savage, how do you think it will be if they are in real world? What part will Disney characters play in it? So, as far as Mickey, because he's one of the Keyblade Masters of Training that Xehanort is a part of. So Mickey for sure will be
Can
a
you say
part.
that name again?
Xehanort?
That's the most Kingdom Hearts name I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, he's the big bad guy. So you have
How's
him.
how is that spelled? Is that with like three Z's and four X's?
It starts with an X. E-N Nort. So,
Gotcha.
right. So you have him. And then you have, of course, Donald and Goofy. And then you might have, if I'm yeah, so you might have a few others, like very small characters, but not too much outside of those three that actually need to be in the game. The grapple hook is needed. Grapple hook,
Yeah,
grapple hook
that
is.
looks fun.
I mean, that's it. I mean, the grapple hook and Giga Drill. That's the combo.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not gonna see this game until I'm 50. So
Probably true.
right, I saw. I don't even care. I won't see this no time soon. So I'm going to allow them to continually show it off. Kyle, I'm saying minimum 7, depending how many people get used to Unreal 5, the developing team, and how stretched Square is, because we still need Final Fantasy Part 2. 7 Part 2 to come out. So, and then you still got 16 in the works. So, you know, anywho, let us know how you feel about the new trailer of Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement, and then the mobile game. Oh yeah, the mobile game. The mobile game. The mobile game. God, that they really gave us a mobile game. It's been one a crazy weekend.
Yeah. Not dealing with that foolishness. There is a mobile game for Kingdom Hearts 4. It's a companion. That's the story.
I played the first one. No, I'm not. No, Kyle, I'm not. I'm not at all. Not in the slightest surprise because I played the first one. Daryl actually got me to play the first one, and we actually they had raid bosses that you can play together with your friends at the same time. It was mechanically stunning, and not mechanically stunning, but functionally well. It was a thing, right? Because I'm not even gonna talk. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was tied up in Kingdom Hearts really tough. R Savage 90. Really tough. Before 3 came out, I was a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts. 2 was just amazing, and I was looking forward to 3 so much. But, my chest was definitely disappointed. But, in better news, talking about developing and games coming out that we want to be aesthetically looking good in the process of coming faster, we had the Unreal 5 reveal and display. And I was, as a person that's into technology and the back end of things, highly impressed. How do you feel about what you saw, G?
Well, there's really only one thing that I can feel, and that's that in the next year or two, because I'm sure there are a few games that are deep into development on Unreal 5 already, and we just don't know it. I know Wukong is one of them.
Yes.
But current gen is finally here. Because Unreal 4, now granted there are other reputable game engines out there, like the RE engine, the Decima engine, and so on and so forth. But Unreal 4 carried last generation on its back, and we will expect that Unreal 5 will carry this generation on its back. So the fact that it has finally released, Fortnite, of course, has been the stress test for it. I'm excited, man. It looks like we're going to get some amazing graphics out of it. Funny enough, there was I forget if Unreal 5 does the metahumans but I know that they have their own form of metahumans if it's not metahuman, because I know that's like a brand or whatever. But there was a picture going around on the internet of a black kid with blonde, curly, frizzy hair that looked pretty convincing. I thought to save the picture and send it to my wife, hey, check out my cousin Isaiah. Look at him. He's growing up so much. And she calls me a couple hours later. She's like, man, I really like your cousin's hair. I'm like, yeah. She's like, so whose kid is that? I'm like, nah, I'm just screwing with you. That's actually a video game character from Unreal 5. And she was like, what? She's like, well, I was going to say he had murdery eyes, but that was convincing. And that tells you exactly how good, the possibilities of Unreal 5 are. These people look convincing. We saw the what was that? I forget what it was, like the Matrix Revolution teaser thing that came out. That was pretty convincing. So I'm overall just really excited to see what we will get presented to us with these new games that are starting to launch on the sleeve of Unreal 5, man.
Absolutely. I was aesthetically pleased. I know a picture you was talking about, and it looked phenomenal. Before I go into details or anything, I want everyone to know, if you have a strong enough gaming PC for developing, you can go ahead and download Unreal 5 and go ahead and get to tinkering with a lot of the things they have available on there. They have plenty of plugins that are free, things are available for you to test out. And then on top of that, they do have a demo that's available for you to download, play, and then add your own layouts to it for you to experiment in the feel of what Unreal 5 can bring. It's your basic shooter with your dummy layouts, nothing like the characters don't look anything too different unless you want to go ahead and add them out. And then outside of video games, this can also be a great way to do anything as far as commercials, your if you want to get into
Sarah,
design
I
work,
love you.
is oh God, Sarah,
Sarah with the dad jokes.
yo, stop it. But I'm really happy for what I saw. This is going to make developing way easier for AAA games. You're going to see a lot of indie titles come out of the woodworks with amazing looking games, on top of games that are up to speed with current gen. That I feel as though is going to blow a lot of things out the woodworks. Unreal has always been one of the leading engines for developing. You had, what is it? Unreal. You have Unity. You have Guerrilla Games uses what engine?
That's Decima.
Decima engine. You have
Did
which
you already
one?
say Did you already say the RE engine?
No, I haven't said RE engine. You have
Yeah.
RE engine. You have a couple
Don't for-
out there.
Don't forget, EA will never let go of Frostbite.
Anywho, so you have that, and then you have I have it on my PC.
On the tippity top of his tongue.
It's actually on my PC, but yeah. Question Nick, since you dabble into the back end of tech, absolutely, I'm definitely going to go ahead and try it out. I'm going to look into it just to play around. More of the data information on what it brings, because I'm not as artistic. I know for a fact Terry has been working with Unreal 4 and has developed like his own VR game of like building blocks and climbing. But for me, I'm just really just gonna test things out, see how it feels, and just give it a try, because I'm not artistically anywhere capable of developing games of that magnitude. But at least I want to know what I'm talking about when you sit down and we have these discussions as far as engine go. So there's that.
Now, something that I would like to point to that I think makes Unreal Engine 5 super interesting is the implementation of code-free development. Now, but in the template shooter game that Perry has mentioned to us, this is a game that already has online functionality and servers built in. So if you want this to be a multiplayer shooting game, it's already there. But what's really cool about it is they give you, like, I think they said like 3 to 5 templates of different maps, and with those maps you can literally copy and paste, click and drag things, move around elements, switch textures, and make it your own without ever having to touch a piece of code. So I mean, you could probably look at some beginner guides on YouTube and create your own multiplayer shooter game.
Yeah, and
like it's insane how easy they're making this and how accessible they're making this to like entry level people.
Absolutely. And shout out to your boy Nick Perry again, who introduced someone who is a game developer who uses Core Engine, which Epic Games is a part of. As you can see, Epic Games is a huge supporter of the Unreal Engine and things of that nature. And a lot of aspects of Core Engine is plug and play. That's where developing is going anyway. You have a lot of plug and plays going on right now, from app developing to website developing, web developing, and now game developing, to make it easier for people to come out with video games. But for one thing, as someone who, both of us who are getting into game journalism, is just not about the aesthetics. Like, we care about aesthetics. We love how things look. We love how pretty things are when it comes to video games. But we enjoy the story of what video games bring. And that is why, for me, I believe when I say this, people, you will understand Horizon Forbidden West is a lot closer to Game of the Year with the battlement of Elden Ring, because I've beaten Elden Ring. Like, I wanted to hold my opinion on the game because I'm playing these games to full completion, from side missions to platinum trophy. Like, I'm going to do that, and I want to give a fair judgment on that. The hype of Elden Ring is because I'm a From Software fanboy. But when you look at it from just not the dungeon bosses, but from the main bosses, you had to look at it is Horizon aesthetically looks way better. It has a streamlined storyline. If you're into the lore aspect of Elden Ring, then you have a phenomenal aspect of like 4 to 5 stories in there that you're just like, Lady Melina, her sister, phenomenal storyline. It's damn near tearful. You have the twins, phenomenal storyline. You have the Black Blade boss, great. And then you have 3 to 4 mainline bosses who are just a waste of them being there. And this is, I'm not trying to get too far off. I'm just saying we have to understand that a lot of these games that we play go from mechanically moving great, storyline there, aesthetically there. There's a lot of things that have to be checked off, and not just because something is plug and play, it doesn't mean that your game is going to be the next thing since sliced bread. You got to put thought into it, and we are in an age in which on all platforms of all scopes, spoilers. If I spoiled anything, I do apologize. If anything,
No.
in Elden Ring, I do apologize. If I say anything, I just bosses wise. I haven't gone into anything as far as Horizon, so I do apologize. As far as Elden Ring, there's nothing too much. Oh yeah, Lady Melina. You'll have to find her to get that storyline anyway. So trust me, it's tearful. That's all I can say. But yeah, for your games to have anything as far as being something that's going to change it, either you're going to get something like a throwaway album, like something, no disrespect, like a Drake album that's throwaway, or do you want something,
Like Certified Lover Boy.
or do you want something that's going to last a while, like To Pimp a Butterfly? You're gonna have replayability that you're going to always go back to, which is Persona 5 Royale. So no, you're good. I completely understand. You do not have to play. Elden Ring is a game. If you're talking about Elden Ring, I completely understand that. It's very fair on that. If you have played any of the From Software games, if you tune into the Captain's Lounge, or I just stream it here, I'll give my tier list, and Elden Ring is not my S tier number 1 game. Still.
Yeah. So, and what I'll say in your defense, which I'm going to gladly defend you here, because you finally admit that Horizon may actually have the edge on Elden Ring, and that makes me so happy for anyone that was out there getting giddy. That's why. But in reality, you can't really spoil a FromSoft game. I guess Sekiro, if anything, because that one was a little narratively heavier.
100%.
But for the most part, most FromSoft games, like, the only thing that you can really spoil is the spectacle of the boss.
Yes.
Because the story is in the lore. You've got to really dig in to get the story in a lot of cases. Usually the most shocking thing about any of those games is not the name of the boss. It is the first time you come up on the boss and you say, oh my God, I got to fight a giant knight. What? A giant dragon? No way. So, I mean, if you were spoiled by the names that were dropped, we do apologize.
Well,
all in all,
those names are literally seen at the beginning of the lore. But like you said, it's the how you are spoiled again is with the lore and your first encounter with certain bosses. You have the Volcano Manor. That main boss, that's probably the most aesthetically pleasing boss fight I've ever had in a From Software game in a long time. That boss fight was
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how much it counts, as I know Demon Souls was a remake, but Demon Souls was a gorgeous game.
This boss fight puts everything from Demon Souls to the wayside. I'm sorry. This fight was, because it's one of those gimmick fights in which you have a special weapon to beat him. Okay. But dude, it is great. And then you have Lady Melina. You have her fight, which is great, musically phenomenal. And then there's a few other fights, but those two stood out the most. Where I'm just like, this is pleasing to my ears and visually just amazing. So And like you said, I'm going to go ahead and dive deeper into Horizon after I get done playing my Kirby because I just need something to wind down and relax my brain because I spent 145 hours getting that platinum trophy to get that. And I am going back to beat a few other games. I'm almost done with Sifu. I just got to beat it. I thought I was going to go for the platinum, but I just want to beat it at this
Ooh,
point.
yeah, beat Sifu. Don't let it beat you.
Exactly.
Um, but all in all, I know we got here from Unreal 5. But ultimately, Unreal 5 would probably fix a lot of issues that Elden Ring has because, as good as the game is, it has a lot of performance issues. A lot of performance issues.
But that's from software, and I think they do that on purpose just because they know speedrunners, they know people want it, they want gimmicks out there because
Oh, yeah.
they want things there because if they fix all the holes, they did all that, you would literally have to play the game as, sir, you're going to slow grind until you come of level to beat this person. And if you play Elden Ring, 115 to 125 is the level that you need to be respectively that play this to beat this game. I ended off at 167 as my level. So
Yeah, definitely. I definitely do get that. But all in all, Elden Ring is great. Horizon is great. Unreal 5 is exciting. Get ready because current generation is getting ready to kick off more than it has already.
absolutely.
Now, let's go ahead and get into our next topic here because this is an exciting one. We probably won't spend much time here, but we got some big news. Remedy and Rockstar have announced Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes. Oh, so I will say that we have noticed a trend here in the last couple years of remake after remake after remake. However, when the remake is a game that respectfully needs it and the devs and the publishers are hitting the right remakes, you can't be mad. Like SpongeBob Rehydrated, money grab. We didn't need that. Like no one asked for it. It came, whatever. It's a free game on PlayStation Plus. If you want it, go get it. Eh. Um, Remedy and Rockstar again announcing Max Payne 1 and 2 remakes in Remedy's engine. Whew. Like I don't know how many of you guys have seen anything that Remedy's done, but if you've played Control, wow, Control is still one of the best looking games on PS4, one of the best looking games on PS5. The ray tracing in it is amazing. And then with that as well, they also gave us Quantum Break, which is still one of the best games on best looking games rather on the Xbox One S and X specifically. Um, that's a big deal. Perry, do you have? I know you are a little younger, but do you have any experience or any memories of Max Payne?
Of course I do. I'll be Max Payne was like in the era of San Andreas. So I do remember Max Payne. I remember it a lot. So I'm excited. It's one of those games, like you said, that needs it, like KOTOR.
Yeah. So I do want to hop into our chat for a minute. Mike Hennessy 23 says, "I hope that it does not look like the GTA series." Um, I assure you that it will not. So the difference here is a remaster is usually going to be a reskin and upres to make games look new and better. Um, versus a remake is exactly as stated, a remake. So when you see Final Fantasy VII remake and how they pretty much made that a new game with more or less the story of Final Fantasy VII, new gameplay and all that, that's exactly what we're getting here is a remake. So we're talking modern graphics, modern gameplay mechanics, modern everything. Um, and then again, testament to that again, and I think it might be on Game Pass, or at least it was. If you're curious at all on what you can expect from this game aesthetically, go YouTube after this show because we want your views. Okay, but go YouTube Control. Remedies Control. You can look at the PC if you want to see what that max settings look like on ray tracing, but that'll give you an idea of what we should be looking at, and that will tell you that these games are going to look absolutely gorgeous. Or maybe it's one game. What do you think, Perry? Do you think this is going to be like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 vibe where they just combine the first and second game? Because in hindsight, I know those games were really short, maybe like 8 to 12 hours each. Or do you think they are going to make those as separate games?
They need to go ahead. My personal opinion is go ahead and put them together like a Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Do the package deal. Don't do them separately. Let them enjoy this game together because it's a remake. And with everything new that's coming out from new developing and things of that nature, repackage, remake games. If they had a series, go ahead and allow these games to come in package deals. Sarah, if there's any series or games that I want to remade,
go ahead and answer. Give our answer, Perry. He's going to speak for both of us here because I know where he's going. And it's already rumored to come. We're just waiting for it.
Oh, which one are we talking about? Anything of Snake? Yes, that. Yes, anything of him. But like outside of our conjoined one, Onimusha 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
I would settle for a remaster on those because they are. Well, I guess technically Onimusha 1 did get a remaster, right?
Yeah, it did because you can play that on 4.
Yeah, so I would definitely settle for remasters, but I would be over the hills about remakes. And then R Savage as well, Devil May Cry series, yes. However, you can play Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4 all on last gen. So probably not likely. But under the remaster, most of those games still look pretty good. So if that's something that you're itching for, definitely swing by the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, and go check those out because those are available. And Devil May Cry 3 is probably still one of the hardest games that's not a Souls game.
I agree upon that.
Yeah. But I mean, other than Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3,
I say Persona series.
I mean,
just like bring it with more up to date graphics because like all those games are just beautiful. Like all of them.
I'm sitting here thinking, what would I want to have a full-on remaster of, or remake rather? Not again. Remember, a remaster is just a res of graphics in most cases. A remake is again kind of like what they did with Shadow Colossus. They remade the game with current graphics, which we need a PS5 patch of. By the way, God, we need a PS5 patch for Shadow Colossus.
Demon Souls,
Demon Souls is another PS5 remake.
That was a beautifully remade game, like beautifully done. Like if you compare the PS3 to the PS5 version, night and day.
Yeah. You know, what I'm going to say is, and this will probably be unpopular, but it's one of my favorite Final Fantasy titles. I'm going to say Final Fantasy 9. Or Final Fantasy 10. I would absolutely adore either of those games getting a current graphics update as a remake. Not 8, because 8 is a freaking fever dream. Like it's really bizarre and it's good in its own right, but I don't want that stuff. Give me 9 or 10, and I'll be super happy. And then also we can get. I know a lot of people hate them just as we're there, and I'm going to stand that Final Fantasy bag. But give us PS5 ports, or at least PS4 ports that have benefits for next gen for Xbox Series X and 5. Final Fantasy 13. 13-2, and I guess we can throw in Lightning Returns for the hell of it. Yeah, I need all of that.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Leave that headache in the trash. Not even in the trash. They did get
a remaster. They did release a Disney re-release of Aladdin for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, because they were like separate games. and then The Lion King. They actually released those. You should be able to find those now. I think on Nintendo Switch as well. So you might want to hit the Nintendo eShop and check it out because those should be out there. And Lion King is more difficult than you remember it because you were a better game when you were a 7-year-old. Yeah. So let's get into some fun here. Our next topic, unless you had anything else you wanted to throw out in the realm of remakes here, Perry.
Um, no, there's pretty much like I'm enjoying a lot of new games that are coming out, and I enjoy the games I had growing up. It's like for me, in my last take on remake games, it's like allow me to enjoy the movies I grew up with. I don't need a remake on those. Allow them to be great for where it was remastered. Because the take of what that movie was great. Like I don't like Boys in the Hood. I don't need a remake for that. Menace to Society. I don't need a remake for that. I like or a continuation. Like I'm good for what it was. It was perfect for that time frame. I'm good. That's pretty much. And I enjoy the new stuff. I enjoy the new ideas because I want to be able my kids to be like, I grew up on this and this was phenomenal and this was something from my childhood that was great.
Yeah. And definitely, because you did say Menace to Society. There is a unofficial Menace to Society sequel out there. It is actually a song by Papoose. It is told through the lens of Anthony, who was Jada Pinkett's son in the movie. He grows up and kind of has his own experiences in the same hood that took Kane out. Spoilers for like a 30-year-old movie, but yeah. So if you are curious, go check it out because it's actually a pretty awesome piece of music there. And then just a few more comments here. What's y'all opinions on games such as Def Jam, Fight for New York, and Bloody Roar getting remastered?
So let me say something about fighting games. Let me say
Yeah,
something
yeah,
about fighting games. Maximilian has made a great, phenomenal point as of recently. Fighting games need a free game to play.
Yeah.
They need to go ahead and give us that free fighting game to play to download, just like a Rogue Company or like a Fortnite. That would be phenomenal. My opinions on Def Jam, great game for where it was in that time frame. Def Jam and Fight for New York, like both those first two, phenomenal. Bloody War, great. Phenomenal looking games, great aesthetics, great everything. Like if I had a choice to have a fighting game remade, it would be Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Marvel, no, I'm sorry.
I'm even going to get started on Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I need a remake of Def Jam Fight for New York. That would be great. What's another one that I really enjoyed?
Old school fighters. I would like to see a remaster of and I forget because Capcom crossover sometimes do the weird thing like they did Street Fighter cross Tekken, and then there was supposed to be the Tekken cross Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But the superior version, I think it was Capcom versus SNK. If we could get one of those remade, that would be awesome. So there are lots. Like fighting games are one of those weird ones because essentially a lot of those games being based in sprite animations still look gorgeous today. So what we need a full on remake? Probably not. I would love to see like a high definition remake of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I'm sure that animation would be highly expensive, so we would probably never get it considering they have to pay for the licensing as well.
Right.
But definitely, like if we can just get those games, even as they are, I would be happy to have those on current gen.
Absolutely, and yes, Art Savage. I will have to say this: fighting games is in a weird place right now. A very weird place, and what I mean by that is, fighting games don't last past a month and some change unless you're dedicated.
Yeah, it's weird.
And you need to make it more interesting, but without the aspect of diminishing the competitive aspect and making it easier, making it more welcoming, of course, and more interactive, give us a more in-depth storyline. Say what you want about NetherRealm fighting games, no matter what, you're going to get a pretty damn good story all the time. Injustice, great. Mortal Kombat, always been great. But when you look at the competitive aspect, they die out quickly. And then you still have legends in the game that play heavy in the circuit.
Well, so this is the weird thing though. It's funny you bring up story modes in fighting games because that is part of the problem here. Now, are story modes needed in fighting games? Not necessarily.
No.
Because in my opinion, they create a bit of a problem, but there is a good reason for why they're there. Because story modes in fighting games attract newcomers. But the problem with it is when you go into the story mode, the newcomers come in, they get through the story mode, they get familiar with some of the characters, some of their move sets. Great. But what happens from that point is story modes usually don't teach you much in the way of game mechanics. They're just there to kind of woo in those newcomers. So what eventually happens is once they go and they beat Omega Shao Kahn 35, 65, 50 to the square power, they get ready to hop into online play because they feel that they are ready. People like me and Perry ignore the story mode unless it's necessary to unlock the characters, which I hate when they do that. I hate
Dragon Ball
so
Fighters when I had to get Android 20.
I think I ended up just paying for Android 20 because, gosh, here, just take my $3. I don't want to play 15-hour story mode just to, anyway. But anyway, those guys get through the story mode. They think that they are ready for online, and then they run into people like us. And when I say people like us, me and Perry, I wouldn't say are anywhere near professional tier, but we are within, I would say, modestly, top tier intermediate players.
Yeah, so especially in a game that we love and that we spend hours like MKX and Dragon Ball until we fight people like Frank, and then we sit there, like, absolutely, like, we go hard with the dojo sessions, and then we wait. We're like the wall for people who want to go that extra mile and hit sweaty level, for sure. Because I don't play story mode in fighting games. I go directly to tutorial. I break down each character that I enjoy. I find one that fits me, and then I spend at least. It took me RAM off of Guilty Gear Strive. It took me like 7 to 8 hours to just find combos that fit and were comfortable to memorize within like the.
Our Savage is James. Thanks for stopping by, James. I had no idea that was you. But Random Savage, yeah, our Savage. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming by.
Oh.
Sorry, Perry. Please continue.
Oh, most definitely. So that's us for sure.
Yeah. So keep the story modes in, but put some mechanic training into those games because they'll run into people like us and they will get wrecked, and then they will quit the game, and then before you know it, you have your tryhards, your intermediate players, and your professionals are the only ones playing. And that's why the player base drops off so fast, because those story modes woo you in with a false sense of security, and then you go online, you run into people, and then you get wrecked for a couple days, and then those are usually people that say, oh, this guy probably lives in his mom's basement and doesn't have a life. And then they just go play something else.
Right. And then, like, for me on the competitive side for, like, esports, make fighting games great again where dojo sessions aren't needed. And, like,
absolutely,
when people combos are like, oh, that's a Daigo combo or that's a Tokido combo, not, oh, we know what combo's coming up next because everyone labbed this off of YouTube. Like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, you had a Justin Wong combo where he had Storm, Magneto, and I think Captain America combo. I knew Storm was heavy with him, But I could be
Yeah,
wrong. I will ask Derek about that one.
yeah.
But
And the cool thing about Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that game is what 20 plus years old, and people are still finding combinations, uh, and not even just like actual like combos, but also team combinations that have unfound synergy today. That speaks to the depth of that game. It also speaks to how broken it is as well. But
right.
you've got 60 something characters in the game. Yeah, it's probably going to be a little broken.
Please make
So,
JoJo's broken.
whatever.
Please make JoJo's broken.
To a certain degree, it can be broken to where it's fun, but don't make it completely broken. Um, so yeah, shout out to R Savage who tricked us into talking about fighting games. We could talk about fighting games all day, but we have children that need to be fed. So we will move to the next topic.
And naps that need to be taken.
Yes, naps that need to be taken as well. So Halo Infinite multiplayer season 2 has finally been announced. Should be dropping in early May. So with this here, they have announced a couple new modes, including more, which I think is crazy because they in before they launched said that they would not be doing a battle royale mode. But they literally have a free for all elimination mode in the game called Last Spartan Standing. With that as well, they've also made some changes to King of the Hill, and they are finally adding in a battle pass almost 6-7 months after launch, and overhauling the customization system in the game. Perry, how do you feel about Halo and the announcement of Season 2 finally being upon us?
After looking at everything that's being added, they're giving us a game now that seems more fleshed out. So I'm happy, but is it a little bit too late? I don't know. Just because the hype of Halo has fallen like extremely fast. And I do see people coming back, but the state of what Halo is, with the expectations and the project of what it should have been, oh, they're in the red. They're nowhere near as successful as they should have been. I'm talking about Halo was probably the most anticipated FPS when it was announced because you got veterans coming back to the game. Like you had people who started their careers in from FPSs.
Ninja.
FPSs. You know what I'm saying?
One of the biggest streamers out there started his career in Halo.
So, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to see it come back and announce like that, but wasn't a fleshed out full multiplayer game that was very limited and just die after 3 months was very saddening to see because again, this game was going to be the second coming of greatness because I couldn't wait to be toxic online and teabag everyone.
Yeah. So I just want to throw this out there to you. Because I did some research on this after I heard about the announcement. I went to go look at numbers. So when Halo started, when Halo multiplayer in particular started this past November, they had a monthly average of 102,000 people online playing, and I want to say like their peak was around like 350K. Don't quote me on that number. And these are numbers coming from SteamCharts.com. When I checked yesterday on a Saturday afternoon, they were at a player count of 7,334, and in the last 30 days had an average amount of players of 5,895. 6,000 people were the average amount of people playing Halo. The former king of multiplayer games. 6,000 people again. And that's again coming from a few months ago having 100,000. Which is alarming because at this point, as of last week even, there's been reports of people having issues with finding matches in particular modes in Halo Infinite. If you want to play Capture the Flag or Team Deathmatch, I forget what they exactly call those modes in the game. Those are still there, but if you want to play some of those more obscure modes right now, it's hard to find a match in those. And that's scary because this is supposed to be the golden goose of
FPSs.
Microsoft.
Exactly.
And of shooters as well, Perry, you're right.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's hard to not be worried about the fact that this game is falling off so fast and so hard. Like, do you think that season 2 is really gonna do it? Do you think they're coming back?
It's a possibility. They will just have to market it really well. I mean, it's Microsoft will have to do something phenomenal for it. I'm looking towards like I don't know. I don't know. In the age in where you're not the only Titan out there making noise and ripples throughout the gaming world, you're going to have to come correct first. Just
Yeah.
because, again, we seen it happen. We had two Titans released within a week from each other. Both phenomenal games. One was snuffed out, unfortunately. And a game that was great. You had a very bad launch. My fault. Delay schedule. Semi mediocre launch. And then nothing after that. People have
Yeah.
moved on. Fortnite got rid of building and their player base exploded.
Right. Yeah, and Fortnite is one of the best to do it because they do crazy stuff like blow up the world for a week and let people not play the game. Why? Because people are going to go crazy and want to figure out what happens. So when that game relaunches again after a week, people are going to go run and play it like crazy because they've not played it. They're going to get rid of building because people are going to say, "No way, I don't believe that. I know the news story says it, but I'm gonna load up the game and check it out anyway. I'm busy right now, Freddie. Okay, we'll play dinosaurs when I'm done with the show. Okay. Okay, love you. Um. So yeah, it's crazy to see that Halo is in the state that it's in because I don't know if you caught this, but they actually announced that multiplayer campaign in Forge mode will probably not make it in until season 3. So I guess the saga continues, and then that begs the question of how long are we going to have from season 2 to season 3? Hopefully, it's only like 3 months. But I mean, can we really know for sure?
I mean, only Microsoft knows. And then there's a link that G has been sharing around of what Microsoft does and how they handle their studios. So with that, it's foretelling. Hopefully, something good comes from that. But I'm not totally for sure, man. I this was the this this to me, and I told you I was highly vocal about this. This was to my idea of a guaranteed dub for Microsoft. A guaranteed dub. And the whole aspect of Halo, even to the show, has not been, God bless you, has been
Thank
great
you.
at all. So I'm holding out hope because, again, all aspects of gaming, be it a Microsoft fan, Nintendo fan, or PlayStation fan, everyone has their own particular area where they love and want to be at. And I just want Microsoft to finally get the dub and present
Yeah.
something that's playable for me to be like, I play you now. There hasn't been a moment of that yet.
Yeah. And then also a side note, and I spent a portion of this past week trying to find this information, but apparently some Starfield gameplay has leaked. It looks far enough in development. Well, it should be far enough in development, considering it's supposed to be out in the next 6 to 9. I mean, 6 to 8 months. Um, but Starfield gameplay has leaked, and a lot of people are underwhelmed by it.
It's literally
Now,
Skyrim in space. That has been the
now,
compared thing.
now that's what they pitched it as. But I've seen some images. I've not seen the actual gameplay. It looks pretty barren. Where yes, Skyrim was a game that was lived in, and there were adventures to be had and dragons to duel. What we got was a space, like kind of like a space. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a space fort, I guess, to say it, the easiest way. And then some weird textures on what looks to be the moon, and just a barren landscape with black skies with a couple twinkles of stars. Now, sometimes I know that the scuttlebutt and console wars on Twitter can skew things, and it's hard to tell who's a fan, who's a hater, and everything in between. But at least what I saw did not look too interesting, but they were just still frames with nothing really happening other than some UI stuff and some HUD stuff. So hopefully we get some gameplay. I know E3 season, I guess now Summer Games Fest season, boom, is right around the corner. Yep, I said scuttlebutt. But anyway, that's right around the corner. So hopefully we'll finally get some gameplay and we'll get to see that game represented as they intended it to be. I just hope that what they show us is not as bland as what's floating around on Twitter right now.
I won't believe anything until I see it myself at this point. The internet's not real to me. Links.
The internet's a crazy place.
It's a crazy place. Leaks, even at leaks at this point, man, I want to be, when it drops, I want to be there and surprises everyone else. I don't care about not being the first to tell the story anymore. I just want to be the one that tells the story the best. So
right, when you rush to tell the story for the first time, you end up like that news outlet that said that Tom Brady retired for him to be like, no.
He probably retired, but he spent time with his wife and kids and said, "Nah, I'm good.
Right, let me get out of here.
I'm ready to go play more football."
Right. So yeah, but again, Halo is it's doing stuff. We can only hope that it's great stuff. We'll have to wait and see. We've only got, I guess, at minimum 4 weeks before that pops up. Let's see here. Halo had a formula to be king again and just dropped the ball. No, honestly, I don't think so. I don't think Halo had the formula. So I would suggest
they had the hype.
They had the hype is what they had. So this is the thing that a lot of people don't recognize. Over half of Halo Infinite was developed by contractors. Like, there's a really good story going on YouTube that is titled, I think, "What the Hell is Going On with Microsoft Studios," and they kind of really break it down. That game was supposed to be more open world than what it was. They had to scale it back because they only could hold their contractors for 18 months at a time, and then after that 18 months, they had to contract new contractors and finish the game based on what the previous team of contractors have done. And some of those things got lost in translation, so they had to cut out large portions of the game, large portions of the open world. And for that reason, that's why things like the multiplayer campaign and such got cut, and so many other things. I don't necessarily think they had the formula, but what a lot of people don't realize is when Halo was king of console shooters, we didn't have huge options. Yes, kid. Okay, I can't make people play with you, kid. But like I said, we didn't have huge options like Call of Duty, Battlefield. We didn't have Destiny. Now we do. We didn't have, what else? We didn't have like what's the other, Rainbow Six Siege, and even like some of those third person shooters, like even though they kind of flopped in their own respect. What a Division and so on and so on. There's so many console shooters now. Even Borderlands, and then the Tiny Tina Adventure does like this weird mesh of like a classic RPG mixed with shooters. There's so many options out there now that I don't think it's necessarily a thing of they didn't follow the formula. I think the issue is that they followed the formula that they had. That was a formula set by Bungie in a time that Bungie did not have as much competition. And because 343 did not have their own vision, they got wrapped up in trying to deliver the return to form that Bungie created. They focused too much on that. They did not innovate. And because of that, all of these other shooters that are around look just as good.
Just as good. And I'll defend Kyle's point on this. The esports was set. If they focus
should have been.
Yeah, if they focus on the competitive aspect of the online gameplay and things of that nature, they were back for greatness. Like as far as when it came to competitive shooters, they had everything balanced and they tested it and they came back with, hey, here's a multiplayer, we're doing this, we're keeping everything balanced, we keep the updates going, and then allowed the esports scene to organically come back in full throttle. They had all the vets coming back. You had all the vets coming back.
Let me ask you a question, Perry, and this supports your notion. We just got Ghostwire Tokyo and Kirby, which are probably the last biggest games to come out until we kind of get into Q3. What else is coming out right now?
Outside of updates, nothing of importance to us.
Tell me what it would have looked like had they just said, you know what, I understand the anniversary is here, but let's delay the game. Let's release it during this window of April to May. They could have had season 1, could have been 3 months long. That would have gave them time to already prepare for season 2. That would have been out at the beginning of Q3. They would have had content ready. The battle pass would have been ready. Customization would have been ready. Maybe multiplayer campaigns in Forge mode still got delayed, but they would have been out a couple months after the game rather than almost an entire 6 to 8 months after the game. They would still rule that conversation, and on top of that, they would have launched alongside the Halo Paramount show, which, from what I hear, isn't the greatest, but it would have been a huge marketing machine.
Easily.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like the ball was dropped because they had the opportunity to, even if maybe Halo was never, Infinite was never going to be as great as like the glory days of Halo. You know, we all could have hoped for it. And if they would have nailed that marketing machine and hit everything at the time that they should have hit it, like now, oh my God, like Absolutely. it would have been inescapable.
100%. I totally agree. There was a lot of balls dropped behind the scene for this game to not be as successful as it should have been. Marketing standpoint, failed. There's no reason, to me, zero reason why the show wasn't implanted in the video game for any type of marketing at all. There should have been like a season special of the show launch for a week within the video game. There should have been, like you said, when it was a slow run, you hit it during this point in time. This is when, hey, we got season 1 for the next 3 months of some of the biggest esports teams in the circuit right now that came back to Halo going live. Welcome to this area. Let's have some fun. Let's go out there and have a ball. Tournaments should have been popping up. LAN parties, unfortunately, because of COVID, very limited that. But with the regulations like being more lenient, having a LAN party type of thing going on would have been Halo's return of the king is here. That would have gave the nostalgia aspect tenfold of a feeling of people coming back, and then marketed to the newcomers of video games and competitive video games, where this is where it is. I don't want to go on a tangent right here, but I want to say something. When it comes to everything now, there is so much of, I gotta do it first. I don't want to be last. I don't want to be lasting. I just want to make the first big impact and just leave it alone. There's no like, no, I want to build. I want to stay here. I want to make my impact first to come out really big, but I also want to stay consistent. Like a man getting a new wallet and it being worn down until we have to get a new one. You want to show consistency as showing like, no, I care for this for so long that you can see it still holds together. Just the outside doesn't look good, but we can pretty that up for you. We can get that fixed. And that's just like, it's the Americanized thing of everything at this point that I just don't like on all aspects. It's like, let's take our time. Let's enjoy it. We don't have to just keep pumping out and stay in this fast lane, because that's how things get burnt out. Like, I don't want to get burnt out for any of this. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to be the first to just did all this and go on to the next thing. That's not what the intent of a lot of these games are for. You want to enjoy it for what it is. You want to enjoy it for what the developers took. Just because developers didn't do this overnight. Plug and play is a thing now for developing to make it faster, but you're going to pump out so much content that's not going to mean anything. Why do we need, like, there's no point. There's no heart and soul in that. Give me something that's going to be good. Little Nightmares 2. Ryan, I mean, the first one was a phenomenal shocker. The second one, great as it is. Like, it was a great, phenomenal game if you played it. Things like that matter. AAA games, take a hold of that. Be good. It's okay not to be the first one. Just be the best one.
Yeah. And I mean, and my thing is, at the end of it all, like, to support your notion, I 100% understand why Microsoft pushed to have Halo out when it was, because when you look at the launch year of the Xbox Series X, no, it's not a thing. I mean, Microsoft will probably never run out of money.
Never run out of money. Their budget.
They didn't have any content. So the thing is this: when you look at it, for 2020 or 2021 was like the first full year of Xbox Series X and Series S being out. Which, by the way, there's some footage out, and the Series S is floundering right now. I challenge you all to go look at the Digital Foundry review of Final Fantasy Stranger in Paradise, or whatever the hell it's called. It's out here looking like an Xbox 360 and PS3 game, and people are upset. But anyway, when you look at 2021, again, the first year of the new Xbox family's launch, they had 3 exclusives. They had the Medium, which like 3 months after the launch came to the PS4 and PS5. You had Forza Horizon 5, I think it is. And then you also had, what was the other one? Oh, Halo. So I get why they really pushed to have that game out when they did. Also, it was kind of corresponding with the anniversary. But my thing is this. When you do the math, Xbox has already had a problem with having exclusive content ready for their platform. In a year where you truly had 2 first-party exclusives, 2 exclusives despite the fact of it being first-party, it's already a bad year. Like, I get, all right, let's get this out so we can say we have 2. But at this point, like, Forza Horizon was killing it. Probably the most popular game that they've launched to date, and I know part of that is because it was free on Game Pass, but Game Pass is doing what it's supposed to do. It's driving conversation. It's getting people to try new games. They should have just waited. Like, what's the difference in saying, hey, in 2021, we had 2 exclusives? That's just as ridiculous as saying you only have 1. There was really no excuse for them to just push for it, and now it's created the situation that they're in now, which leads right back to what you're saying, that what have you done for me lately notion that the American rhetoric kind of pushes is ridiculous. And one thing that I can say is, as gamers, the gaming industry, which is really interesting, like, we still have scumbags that go around and make death threats over changes to characters and all that stuff, and that's ridiculous.
It's wild.
But that's the vocal minority. The actual silent majority here, we've matured a lot. And whereas back in the day when you delayed a game, people would get upset, you hear so many people now saying, hey, shout out to my boy Chris, thank you so much for the sub 1 tier. But you have so many people out there now that are just saying, hey, the game is delayed, yeah, it sucks, but give us the game when it's ready. That is like the new understanding. We understand that these games are not getting delayed because they want to be evil overlords and twist their mustaches and laugh at the fact that we don't have the game that we want. They're delaying it because there's something wrong, or there's something they can make better, and we deserve better.
Absolutely.
So it's really unfortunate that, especially after we saw how Cyberpunk came out and it floundered, and it's just now a actual good game. It's just now happening in the last month or 2. They should have just waited, man.
It should have been waited.
It really sucks because they could be, pun intended, king of the hill.
No.
Yeah, but
I,
they could be on the top of that tower right now. But what did they
absolutely.
decide to do? They decided to rush it because they wanted to meet those deadlines. They wanted to hit the bragging rights of, man, we've got 2 exclusives in 2021, which is still not a great amount.
God,
And
we've been
now here
saying
we
this
are in
for
this.
over a year together. I'm going to quote someone that I pick on her community the most, and that is the Beehive. Beyonce said it. No one puts out albums anymore, full albums. No one cares about the entirety of a good album. No one wants to take their
Yeah.
time to put a piece of art together. That is what video games are. Video
Yeah,
games are more than just cash grabs, in my opinion, because I
they
hold it.
should be.
I mean, I look at them as a standard of what beautiful gaming and art can be. Examples: Buzzing with the Boys is art of guys playing together, having fun with video games that bring them joy. They've been playing Apex for a while, and they even went back to Fortnite. Yeah, I paid attention to you, Kyle. And then you have Kyle and Demigod who play things of like Destiny that is
Yeah.
phenomenal. So to us, I don't know. I'm in a real weird state of this. No one's going back to Fortnite. You play it for funsies, and you know I don't call it Fortnite. You know this. You know what I call that game. But it's just the
Fuck
aspect of
nut.
exactly. So I don't know. It's in a weird place, and I want gaming just to. If you're a juggernaut at one point in time in the industry, you want to come back. Take your time. You're a juggernaut. Um, I've Nintendo does it best with their juggernauts. If their juggernaut is not ready, they're going to tell you it's not coming out. Play something else.
Yep. We just saw what last week or the week before with Breath of the Wild, and then
we
they had the nerve to show us the same exact gameplay with one frame of new footage.
they literally on one of their Nintendo Directs said, "I know you want to see Metroid Prime 4. It ain't happening right now."
Right, and then it came out, and then it came out again and said, "Hey, I know you want to see Metroid 4, but we didn't like it, and we're starting over." Like it sucks. It's not always what we want to hear, but trust me, Nintendo knows that their fan base would rather wait an additional couple years to get the Metro game that they have always dreamed of than for them to just push out whatever and then get a Metroid game that they hate.
Liv, if
These are things that we love. So
absolutely
just keep that in mind, guys.
facts, Liv, I'll find
Um,
you the link where you can find the numbers of data for Twitch people returning to Fortnite. Um, yeah, like Sarah said, Nintendo know what they're doing. Like, does Nintendo like money? They love money. Sometimes they miss out on great opportunities with money, but when Nintendo says they're not doing something, this this is what I believe in a lot of good just Japanese work in general.
mhm.
They're going to keep to what they love and what they want to do. They don't care about the vocal minority. They don't care about the vocal majority. They're going to pump out what they're going to pump out. They're not tailoring or catering to anyone's feelings. Nintendo's like, we, they said, we don't care if you don't like sword characters. And
Smash.
Smash Bros. Ultimate. We're going to
Yeah.
give you 10. We don't
Yeah, we
care.
like them and we're gonna put them in.
We're going to
Um,
put for us because we enjoy what we make. Who cares what you think, bud? This is my
yeah,
game.
and
Support it or not.
honestly, to support that, like Japanese developers very rarely put out games that are just complete and total broken garbage. The thing is, Japanese developers a lot of times put out games when they are done and when they are ready and when they are proud of the game. Whether or not that game is good is left to be determined to the audience. But it is inherently a Western publisher and development kind of deal to put out games that are not ready. Hence why we do end up waiting so long for Final Fantasy and why we end up waiting so long for uh, what's the other one right now? Metroid and Bayonetta and so on and so forth. Why the Metal Gear games always took so long and always got developed 11 times before they came out. Even though that drove Konami crazy, but Konami, as we know now, actually has a lot of Western ways about the way they handle their business. But nonetheless, like that's not anything that they do on the eastern side of the map. Even like Wukong, we've seen that, and then everyone went crazy, and dude said, "Hey, whoa, cool your jets. This is what we have now. We're kind of sort of proud of this, but the next time you see this game, it's going to look a hell of a lot better. It's not ready. You will see more when it's ready." And then when we saw that game again, it blew off of everyone's pants. So, we've got to, allow these developers to have time to kind of do more of what they want to do. Because yes, Liv, I agree. There are lots of impatient hussies out there, and a lot of them are in the corporate offices. Let's see here. We can definitely take some of that and bring it here because great things take time. Yeah, I agree. And like y'all said, current society has a huge problem with always creating content, quick, fast, and perfect each time. Yeah, never gonna happen. Sarah is a genius. I love Sarah. Sarah, you're the greatest. We appreciate you always being here. Um, so Perry, we can hound on about rush culture in video games for forever, unfortunately. Is there do you want to hang out here anymore, or do we want to kind of skate on to the next two topics here?
Um, we can move on just because we can harp on this all day, and there's
Yeah.
going to be more news that for that. And hold on, um, so many amazing creators stop early because of burnout. Burnout in the industry is huge. Live,
It's real. Yeah,
it's a
it is.
huge thing. A lot of these companies overwork their people during crunch time, and when they want to pump out something with the rush of it, you have creators on platforms that get burnt out because they're just not getting the numbers that they want, and they're not taking their time and not being organically grown. And then, creative burnout on YouTubers, because in a sense, you are your own network, like a Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, that's producing content in which you want your numbers to stay high all the time. You have to come up with these ideas, you have to come up with these topics, you have to come up with these interactions, and then you get into the realm of, I just want people to click on my video instead of creating something that you love to enjoy and not killing yourself in the process of
Then
doing so.
clickbait happens.
And then you have these influencers who just need to get punched in the face because they're
Yeah.
just I'm so sick of these random videos, man. There's a lot that I'm really sick of, and I think I'm just going to do like a single off video of myself just going off on what I'm tired of seeing on the internet as far as creatives and
Yeah.
influencers, because I've hit my take, and it could be that I'm tired, but I'm really annoyed with a lot, and I just want to address it.
Okay, so there's one I have to say here. It hurts my heart to say this, but in 2021, 2022, as much as he doesn't miss, Mighty Keith is one of those guys. Like, I love his content when his content is good, but there's been so many times he's dropped a video that's 5 minutes long, and in that 5 minute video, there is a 2 to 3 minute advertisement. And I understand that he is probably a one man team or a very small team if there are other people on it, but like we do get that. We do get that. Sometimes people push out content, whether it's games or YouTube videos, whatever it is, for the sake of getting something out, and it shows when that happens. So again, don't rush. Take your time. I understand that it's that in the YouTuber situation like Mighty Keeves, that's probably his livelihood. So I understand to a certain degree. But damn. Um, well, let's go ahead and move on, Perry. And we'll have to get like some spiritual successor to a trash tribunal going at some point. Um, so next topic
Yeah.
won't be a long one, but I just want to give a special shout out to Returnal as they cleaned up at the BAFTA Awards. What are the BAFTA Awards? None other than the 18th British Academy Games Awards. This is essentially like the Oscars or the Grammys of video games in Britain, and this shows because through an artistic lens, people in the UK look at things different. That's why a lot of people kind of scoffed at what was that? Death Stranding here in America because it was too slow and uninteresting. But people in the UK saw it for the art that it was, is because they look at things with a different lens, and it's not always about shoot 'em up, bang bang, big boom booms. But anyway, those guys walked away with 4 awards. They got the most awards of the night with Best Game of 2021, Best Music, Best Audio Achievement, and Best Leading Role, which is Jane Perry playing the starring character in that game, Celine Vassos. Um, that was that was huge. Now, I do want to give a special shout out to the Audio Achievement Award and explain why they got that. Because Returnal actually cracked the code to the DualSense in a way that is beneficial for every other game. When they designed the haptic system for the DualSense, they had a genius thought. They said, well, vibration and sound are the same thing. So they actually designed the audio track for, well, the vibration and haptic senses for the game in the controller as audio. And because that audio, of course, translates into vibration at lower frequencies or higher frequencies, however the science behind that goes, it created amazing sensations within the haptic of the controller. So they actually use their audio design to create the vibration sensations that you get from the DualSense controller. And if you have not played Returnal yet, go play it, because like just the use of the controller alone, like if you've not really got into PS5 yet and maybe you're just now getting to it, I can definitely say that the 3 games that handle the haptics and the trigger systems the best on PS5 right now are the Astrobot Rescue, which comes as a pack-in for the PS5, Gran Turismo 7, and Returnal. So definitely go check those games out. Definitely give Returnal a play. It was definitely my game of the year for 2021. It was snubbed on the American side. There wasn't even a nominee at the Game Awards for it, though they did get some other awards at other like lower profile award shows. So with that here, did you have anything that you wanted to throw in on that one, Perry, before we move into Sonic the movie?
I'm happy it's finally getting the respect that it deserves. Thank you for giving a game of class, game of perfection, game that hits every aspect of gaming to a T, its well-deserved rewards. I have nothing to say when things are met. I am a parent that expects you to do things and do things right. If you do those things, you won't hear from me complaining.
Yeah.
Continue doing things that deserve good rewarding.
Yeah, because it's a master class in gameplay, and though there are games that I like more, I can undoubtedly say that gameplay wise, control wise, Returnal is probably one of the best games to release in recent years. Um, Now, is the story and everything for everybody? Probably not. Is the difficulty level for everyone? Probably not. It is undoubtedly harder than a Souls game. I'll say that from someone that's played Souls games enough to feel like a badass and then get bored with them. Whether or not I'm actually a badass there is debatable, but I at least get far enough in to say, all right, well, I can go trounce a few bosses and then get bored here. You're not going to just walk around and just casually trounce bosses in Returnal. But anyway, we will move on to our last topic here. Sonic 2, the movie, or Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie. Just came out this weekend. I was able to get out and check it out. We'll try to keep this really kind of short, sweet, and spoiler free. Perry, it's been received. It's been split. Critics are kind of torn on it. I think it had, last time I checked, like somewhere around like a 50 or 60% critic rating, but the fan ratings are pretty high. Um, how do you feel?
When I look at video games and such as this, when it's coming for like mainly focus on kids and things of that nature, I don't really look at critic scores. It's dumb fun. I don't want it to be something that needs to be Academy Award winning. You're giving me Sonic, you're giving me Knuckles, you're giving me Tails, and you're giving me Jim Carrey as Eggman. I don't see anything of critic that needs to happen there. I'm enjoying myself. That's it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll probably go this week. But they're here nor there. I'm going to enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Really, you hit it on the head. I'm gonna say this: if you are not a lifetime or semi-lifetime Sonic fan, this movie is not for you. If you do not have children that you are taking with you, this movie is not for you. This movie may win an Academy Award. If it wins an Academy Award, it's going to be for something along the lines of the best children's movie, maybe some CGI effects, because there were some pretty cool CGI in there. I don't know how they usually section off that particular award, but you're not going to see this nominated for Best Picture. As a Sonic fan, I could give it a 8.5. As a general moviegoer, I give it a 7. But it was a fun movie. I forget what her name is, and I do apologize for doing the stereotypical black thing. But our girl Kelly, I call her Kelly, is because that is what her character's name was in Insecure, is freaking hilarious. They give her so much more to do, without bogging down the movie. A lot of the other human sequences in the movie are quite boring. And this movie runs for 2 hours. I think if they found a reason to pare down the human interactions in this movie more, they probably could have got this down to about an hour 40 minutes, hour 45 minutes, and had a better film. But I understand why it's there. There's this subplot about Sonic struggling with the fact that Cyclops and Tika Sumpter are not his parents. So that subplot is there, and and they have to kind of go by that. So I get why they put it there, but every time we go to see what Cyclops and Tika Sumpter are doing, the movie slows down until Sonic and Knuckles and Tails pull up on their location, and then from that point, it's the third act and things are happening, and oh my god, everything's crazy. But what I'll say is, as a Sonic fan, it gives you everything that you want. There are some really cool Sega Genesis Easter eggs in there. Jim Carrey puts on a classic Jim Carrey performance. It's like one of the most Jim Carrey things that Jim Carrey has done in recent years. If you loved him in Sonic 1, he is better in Sonic 2. I will definitely say I think that the characterization of Knuckles is solid. He's a strong brute. And I like the fact that in this movie, they didn't necessarily make him dumb, but he is socially awkward. They really nail home the fact that he is the last Echidna, and because he is the last Echidna, while he isn't necessarily stupid, he does not understand a lot of social constructs, and they really nail that home in a kind of a quirky and entertaining kind of way. And then, spoiler alert. I don't consider this to be complete total spoiler because it's already all over the internet. People are going crazy about it, and it doesn't give away anything of the plot in the actual movie. But here it is anyway. Spoiler alert. The post-credit scene gives us Shadow the Hedgehog. Just like they gave us Tails at the end of the first movie, you see him for all of like 2 to 3 seconds, and it gets you excited for the inevitable threequel. But all in all, like it was a fun movie. Again, if you're not a Sonic fan, solid 7. If you're a nice, like, long life Sonic fan, plenty of Easter eggs there, like Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik's little butler guy that hangs out with him. runs a coffee shop called the Mean Bean. If you know, you know. I'm not going to get into too much detail on that. And there are plenty of other little Easter eggs in there and things for you to catch on. Sonic even starts to use the spin dash and the Sonic homing attack from Sonic Adventure in this game as well. Y'all see the buzz about the potential for a Smash movie made by the folks that made this. How do you feel about that? What I would say is I would be weary. Smash Brothers has a lot of characters. There's a lot of licenses that go into that, and it would be very difficult to pull off. Quite honestly, Smash Brothers does not have a story to it at all. Sonic does have a story. And for the most part, this movie 1 and 2 follow those stories. So I would be alarmed by how they would pull off a cohesive story about a game with 70 something characters that does not have a story and make it cohesive in a way that would respect all of those characters. But it would be fun if they found a way to do it, and I would be for it if they could do it while also respecting most of the IPs in the game. Back to it. Sonic is good fun. If you have kids, go see it. If you're a Sonic fan, go see it. If you do not have kids, if you are not a Sonic fan, skip it, catch it when it comes out on digital, or go rent it at your digital platform, or on Redbox if you're still a dinosaur doing that kind of stuff. Anything else you want out there on the Sonic movie, Perry?
I'm gonna be patient to go see it before I have my own opinion on anything, but I mean, I'm happy that Derek has Shadow now.
Yeah,
that's about it. Sonic's gonna be Sonic, so there's that.
Yeah, and something that bugs me, and really quickly before we get into recommendations and start wrapping up here. Okay, let's see what Liz says. I mean, Wreck-It Ralph took from so many IPs into a story. Maybe Kirby be the main character like in the last Smash game. So the thing with Wreck-It Ralph is Wreck-It Ralph was a video game movie that had video game characters in it, but it wasn't particularly about any particular video game. They involved all of those characters into that movie, but none of them were really pivotal to the story. They just were kind of there in passing. So I think it would really require a different approach. And do we really want Kirby to be a starring character in a feature-length film where we have to make Kirby talk? Part of Kirby's charm is the fact that he doesn't talk, and you're gonna have to get his emotions based on facial expressions and his body language, which makes him cute and adorable. I don't want Kirby to have full sentences. Leave him in that weird semi-Pokemon-esque space. Don't mess with Kirby. We like Kirby how he is.
Kirby's a Pokemon.
Yeah. Right. Kirby. Pika. We love that. It's Puyo, exactly. We love that stuff. So let's go ahead and get into recommendations here. Perry, what do you have?
You can start off. I'm finished doing adult stuff. I want to apologize, everyone. I just had an email that just kind of like threw off my entire next 2.5 week layout game plan that I had set. So I'm kind of like pissed, but I do apologize. But go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, definitely so. And by the way, I agree. Pikachu talking was odd, but not necessarily in Detective Pikachu, because we had a reason for it. And spoiler for a 4-year-old, 5-year-old movie, how old it is. But Pikachu was possessed by the main character's father. And so there was at least, and I think that if I remember right, that has something to do with Mewtwo putting Ryan Reynolds as a human's mind into his partner Pokemon, which is the Pikachu. So there's something in the story that makes sense. What didn't make sense is the Pikachu I Choose You movie, where Pikachu talks at the end for absolutely no reason other than the power of friendship. That was creepy.
I think because he was like he was gonna I don't know. The theory of Ash Ketchum being in a dream state because he saw Ho-Ho and all that stuff. I think that's the only reason why Pikachu actually said anything.
Yeah, which was still bizarre to see him just doing this Pika 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 thing, and then for 3 seconds he just says, "Because I always wanted to be next to you." And then did you see that video where the theater reacted and everyone was just like, "What?"
Yes, I have. I laughed several times.
Yeah, that was great. But anyway, my recommendation for this week is I'm gonna keep it simple. Paternal is out here getting some respect on its name, so I wanna make 2 recommendations this go around. Shout out to D-Rain if you're still in the chat. I am going to recommend that you guys go and check out Returnal again because it's an amazing game. You see that it's eating up award shows, and it actually did win a hell of a lot of awards in America as well. Just not the biggest commercial award, which was Game of the Year at the Game Awards. But it's been cleaning up all around in the industry, so definitely go check that out because it is an extraordinary game. It will challenge you. As a gamer, it will challenge you. The game actually almost broke me, and then I was like, nah, Like, I'm going to be done with the game when I'm done with it, not when it's done with me. And that's something, even though I've never completely finished any Souls game, I've never played a Souls game until I just figured I couldn't. I played a Souls game until I had enough and was, all right, I'm kind of bored here. I'm not leaving a game that kicks me.
I promise you, there is Lady Melina will make you quit, and one of the twins. I've seen it.
But
no, trust me. Like, it's one of the Returnal bosses. Well, no. I'm just telling you from being an Souls experienced player, those, and you haven't gone too far, like, because you go until you know the game. Those are that's the curb. Those are the ones that be like, oh, so you think you know what you're doing? You think you're bored? Oh, come here, let me hit you with this, that, and the third, and you're pissed, and then you're just sitting there. But I get what you're saying.
And I get that. Yeah, but they don't get me to that point. And if I got there, maybe it would get me to that point. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But again, I'm done with games and I'm done with them. I usually don't let them beat me up and then leave me bruised and battered on the side. Like, I can't do it anymore. It's usually my attention span. And the other game that I want to put some respect on its name for, and it's I believe it's still on Game Pass, and it is on PS4, PS5 as well. Please, if you have not yet, please, I beg of you, go check out the Eidos, or I think it's Eidos Montreal, but the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out last year. It is so damn good, so good. Like, at this point, the game has been out. They've ironed out a lot of the bugs. They've added in ray tracing. You've got 60 frames per second with 4K or 4K with ray tracing at 30 frames. The story is amazing. It's one of the funniest games I've played in recent date. The gameplay mechanics, the battle mechanics are okay. But they really balance it out by like nailing home the team mechanics and such. It's lots of fun. So please go check it out. I can't beat my drum hard enough, especially if you're any kind of Marvel fan. I won't spoil it for you, but if you're like even a 6 out of 10 Marvel fan, maybe MCU is as far as you go as a Marvel fan, there are plenty of like Easter eggs, plenty of surprises for you. And if you are a hardcore lifetime Marvel fan that somehow missed this game because you're a scumbag, oh my God. Like, you will be head over heels in love with how much Marvel goodness they put into this game without having to shoehorn in ridiculous like MCU garbage. Not that the MCU is garbage, but we see how a lot of Marvel games go nowadays, and they really try to get into that MCU bag. This is not one of those games. This is a Marvel Universe game. And it feels like it because there's so many references to other heroes, surprise appearances, and it's really funny, really good. The soundtrack is awesome. It has great graphics. Like, there's no reason not to play this game other than Marvel Avengers scared you off. This ain't Marvel Avengers. This is what Marvel Avengers should have been. if they focused on narrative, gameplay, and threw away all of that ridiculous multiplayer games of service trash. There you have it.
Sounds good. I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet. I recently finished Platinum Elden Ring. I was able to get a full aspect of the video game. And my thing that I want to tell people is playing games to an entirety, and just not try to rush through it. Get through the main story, do some side quests. Try to, if not, get 60% of the trophies, so you have an idea of what the game is bringing and the challenges that they put as a task to achieve through it. So you get a full opinion on that game. Because my opinion from Elden Ring definitely has changed from beginning to end, just from my experiences. I was able to play each and every boss. I've beaten, out of the 80 total, I've beat 69 to 70 bosses that was available in that game. I collected 85% of all the weapons. I've collected, all that stuff. So I've went through this game thoroughly, and then enjoy the weapons that it brings, respect my skills a lot. And so make sure you play the game's entirety. Make sure your opinion is something that's not something that's clickbaity and where you just want people to click on you and just say stuff to just be saying it. And when people disagree with your opinion on something, it's perfectly fine because everyone's experience changes. This game went from a 10 out of 10 to like a 7.5 to 8 to me, because a lot of main bosses were just not fun. They were just challenging for the aspect of being challenging. That's not fun to me at all. Especially when my character is limited and can't, go more into like the balancing aspect, like in the Sekiro, in my opinion. So,
So I want to just kind of break that down as you broke it down to me in a separate conversation to support that. Because what you told me is like one of the biggest issues is while it was advertised custom build, as you got further in the game, you said that you felt as though it kind of funneled you more into being a long range magic user rather than a sword wielder or a balanced character, right?
yeah, the last couple bosses forced that upon because I was a blood build, and then how a game with the last boss kind of put me in a rage in which this big massive boss has all this range to run around and move as fastly as it wants for being a big boss, and I'm not able to use my Tyrant, which was your horse that you rode on his back, to move just as fast. This thing has ample amount of utilities to beat you, and I can't use the spec that I wanted. So it was very frustrating to experience, but I was able to get it done. To address Sarah's question, absolutely. I will say Sons of the Patriots, Persona 5 Royale, for damn sure. For damn sure. Emotionally attaching. Last of Us 1 and 2, I will say Bloodborne didn't get tears. It got a cigarette and a shot for my first playthrough, for sure. And then, what else? There's a few others, but those are the ones that stood out that definitely got tears or a cigarette and a shot. Because, dear God, was that a stressful time. But with that being said, I'm going to let Greg do most of the closing out. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in again. Yeah. Thank you for being so patient. Always tune in. We had up to 13, 14 people here, and we had a consistent 10. I want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you, Chris, for this tier 1 sub. Thank you, Kyle, for always being here. Skeeto, babe, thank you for showing up again. We're going to get you on the show sooner or later, girl, because I miss you. I miss your takes. I want to thank Liv for being the boss lady that she is, and all the energy that she brings as well. And thank all the newcomers. Thank you, James, for sliding through as well. I appreciate your support as always. Everyone, please be on the lookout. I got some things in the works and where we want to be more engaging with our community. We've been networking with a lot of other streamers as well. where I'm going to present to them a few things and where we have, you know, we're going to do our own fun aspects, having more engaging Let's Plays, have our small tournaments, and just build from there and just have fun for what it is, and go from there. I want to thank you for that. Shout out to Lady Gunner. She had an interview today. Our girl is out there trying to get to the bag, and I'm so happy for her. She has 2 projects that she will be presenting soon for you guys. One with another member that we just added, and Demigod Sean. Welcome to Blerd Lines Podcast. We do appreciate you, man. We can't wait for the Destiny Lord to be presenting. You guys do your Destiny talks, and I know Kyle will be a guest on there or just be there all the time because he is Kyle and he is Destiny. Of course, but shout out to Lady Gunner for all she does. We appreciate you, girl. Can't wait to see you next weekend. And enjoy your party today. And G, I am tired. I appreciate you for being so patient and all that good fun.
Me being patient, you had to wait like 45 minutes for me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 3 hours. I was 3 hours behind. I was very tired. Jordan, we'll see you soon. We held out on Moon Knight, so there's 3 episodes we're gonna talk about. So it's gonna be a long Marvel talk coming soon. So prepare yourself for that, y'all.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get wrapped up. A little bit of housekeeping. I just dropped that link, all the links in the chat right there. So definitely go check us out. Give us a sub on YouTube. Follow us on our individual Twitch channels, on Twitter. Get all that stuff out there. Stay in tune with us. There are definitely shenanigans that go on. You want to see me and Perry piss each other off? It happens on Twitter quite often. You'd be surprised. So definitely go check that out. With that as well, tune in every Tuesday at twitch.tv/Blerd Approved Gaming. That is usually at 5 o'clock, where you can also catch us co-hosting with our friends over at Blerd Approved Gaming, or BAG for short, where we kind of go more of a high level over things. So we don't get into too much detail, but we also kind of share some more news, sometimes get in some Let's Plays. So those views are always appreciated on that side. Let them know that the boys over at BLP sent you. With that as well, I just want to give a special shout out to everybody that came through today. D-Rain, Skeeto Baby, Slub Love, our wonderful mod, R Savage, Mike Hennessy, and anyone else. I think T-Will Don stopped by as well, and anyone else that I may be forgetting. I just want to let you know that you deserve the hardiest. Gang. Have a wonderful day, guys, and we will catch you next week on Saturday or Sunday, depending on how our lives treat us.
We are out of here. Peace.
Peace.